All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, and double honors to our venerable apostles and others of great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with a quick live lesson. Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. And as you can see, the title goes, The Truth Behind the Climate Change Agenda. All right, and this is basically inspired by a video that I was watching. It was actually a documentary, which I'm going to show, and then we're going to flow based off of that. All right, but basically, you have Esau coming up with all these different narratives as to why the earth must depopulate, right? They're pushing this rhetoric, this propaganda, that the resources of the earth is not enough for the people on the face of the earth right now, and that we must consider depopulation, or else we're going to be lacking in resources, right? There's not going to be enough food for everyone. There's not going to be enough water for everyone, and because the resources are lacking, so they have to take a different approach in how they're going to utilize the materials on the earth. Okay, so basically Esau is starting to push this agenda, which is the whole climate agenda. But the reality is they're doing all that as a smokescreen, but the truth behind it is to have complete control and monetize nature. Okay, so now they'll basically be able to tax people or charge people for using natural resources, which prior to them doing this was free, right? You didn't have to have, you didn't have to pay for the air that you breathe, right? You didn't have to pay for, being in nature. You see what I'm saying? But now, through corporatization of nature, all right, they're able to actually charge people based on you utilizing natural resources. Okay, because the whole argument is that it's not enough to go around, so we have to find ways to actually, make it last. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they're pushing for this depopulation. Okay, let's get this quick precept here, and then we're gonna go right into the video. Now it's a over an hour long video, so I'm not gonna play the whole entire video. So I'll drop the link in the description after the video is done, or I could just put it in the chat. My stream is a little bit weird, so I don't want to do too much with it to lose it, but yeah, the video is there, so brothers and sisters who want to watch it, I'll mention it so you can actually check it out later on. It's quite interesting, and it's all going into the times that we're in, where Esau Edom is being exposed for the devil that he really is. And when you watch the video, you're gonna understand that this devil really is the devil. All right, they go above and beyond what any man has ever thought about, at least on this earth. All right, in the sense of how people deal with nature. Esau just want to destroy everything, man, completely, all because of what? Because of money. All right, money and control. All right, so there's a book of Revelation chapter 11 verse 18. It says, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name." Okay, the name being Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. All right, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Okay, now when you go into that word destroy, I'm going to pull it up here in the online etymology dictionary real quick. As a matter of fact, let me do it here so you can also see it as well. Oh shit. Etymon online. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so look up the word destroy. Let's see what we got. All right, it says here, to overthrow, to lay waste, to ruin. Okay, and that is the very name of Esau. Okay, wasted away is he. All right, the son of perdition, meaning the son of destruction, the man of perdition, I should say. All right, it says destroy, ravage, lay waste. Okay, tear down, demolish, literally unbuild. Okay, so they're undoing, right, what the Heavenly Father has done, which he looked at and said it was good. Okay, it says to kill, to slay, to pull down, to demolish, all right, to bring to naught, to put an end to. Okay, and that's Esau, being destructive, causing destruction, tending to destroy. All right, to tear down, to demolish, again, to plunder, to kill. Okay, and the Lord blessed them with the sword that they can do these things. They are the destroyer. Okay, demolish. All right, so you kind of have an understanding of what the word destroy means. All right, so the Lord is going to destroy them that destroy the earth. Okay, so let's get into this real quick. All right.
In-depth look at the problem of global warming, where water's getting scarcer and arable land shrinking.
It's now being claimed that we're entering upon a sixth mass extinction.
Earth, as we know it today, will cease to exist.
There is new information that reveals just how fast the world's...
Okay, so that's a little introduction to the video, and the channel is called Moconomy. Okay, Moconomy, and it says privatization of nature. Okay, they want to privatize, all right, nature, which you can't do that, you know. But Esau, leave it to him. He's gonna do that, and he's destroying nature itself in the name of money and in the name of saving nature. That's the trick behind it. That's why he's known as the devil. All right, he puts out these fair speeches to get people deceived into thinking that, oh, this is for a great cause, this is for a good cause. But then when you actually see them play those things out, it's all destructive, man. Okay, he would buy a piece of land and say, oh, these animals here are about to go extinct, so we're gonna buy that piece of land so we could protect those endangered species. Okay, and then you have a company that might come in and say, oh, but we wanna utilize that land. They say, well, the animals there are endangered, so in order for you to use this land, you're gonna have to buy shares, right? So the land is there, you can come and put your company in that land, but you're gonna have to give us the money so we can continue to protect those endangered species. You see what I'm saying? But meanwhile, that company that comes in that bought that land and buys the shares in order to actually keep that company going in that piece of land, they are destroying that land. They are destroying the surrounding areas. They're destroying more of those animals that are so-called endangered. But as long as they have that permit and they continue to buy shares to be in that land, it's okay with the devil. Okay? And that's why people in different countries, they can't stand Esau, man. All right, they go into these different, again, it's all these corporations that's destroying the earth, man. It's not the regular person. All right, they push this thing, oh, humans are using this and consuming this and polluting the earth and so on and so forth. But when you look at it, it's all these major corporations that's doing all this land pollution, man. Water pollution, air pollution. They're the ones doing that shit. Okay, they'll go set up a whole chemical plant next to a damn small little city or a town somewhere where you got locals living there, and then they blowing all this chemicals up in the air, man. Barium, aluminum, benzene, chlorine, all kinds of different shit that's going up in the air that's being burnt. Okay, and it comes down on the people, smoke, all these different chemicals that's falling down on the people, and people getting sick, getting cancer, and all this different shit, man. And yet we got to sit around and just watch these devils just keep destroying the earth, man. That's why Yahushua is going to come down and put you devils in chains, man. In the book of Job, it says what? They were driven forth from among men. Okay? Because of how you devils behave. And the world is being exposed to your dirty tricks, all right, your deceptive ways, all right, your wicked, destructive ways, man. The whole world is waking up to that shit. All right? So let's continue. I'm going to skip a few of these parts as well, all right?
What if economic and financial markets could save the planet?
What if you can create your own?
Of course. Yep.
We use nature because she's valuable, but we lose nature because she's free.
If we invest money in protecting nature, we'll earn very, very high financial returns.
Right. And that's the rhetoric, right? Protecting nature. How do you protect nature? By making money off of nature? And the example that I just gave is literally what they do. Okay? In the way they create the EPA Environmental Protection Association or whatever agency, whatever the hell they call them, right? But everything they do is literally tied to these banks and these mega corporations and shit. So it's literally, we're living in an age where corporations have partnered up with governments so they can push their corporatized money making schemes upon the face of the earth. Okay, they have lobbyists and all these different people, and all of them, when you really look into it, they're all mostly J's, bro. All right, these powerful lobbyists that actually have control over these major governments. All right, they have all these politicians in their pockets. They're mostly go back to the Amalekites, man. Okay, so again, they're being exposed for being the devils that they are. Talking about they God's chosen people. Fuck out of here, man. Keep going.
Economists, bankers, investment funds and financiers are taking an interest in the environmental crisis. They say that they can protect the planet their way, with money. How much is the beach that you visit every year actually worth? How much for the forest that you love to walk in so much? What is the value of a plant, a mammal, an insect? Does this combination seem at all unnatural to you?
Financialization equals to rape of the earth.
Yep.
Endangered species and forests are treated like financial products. Can markets succeed where politics have so far failed? But at what risk? At what price?
Banking nature. Okay, banking nature, and that's a huge problem, because when you got let me see if I can find this quote right here. Okay, this is by James Garfield, President James Garfield, right? He said, whoever controls the money in any country is master of all its legislation and commerce. Kind of sound like what Mayor Amstel Bauer said, right? Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. Okay, same thing. President James Garfield said, whoever controls the money in any country is master of all its legislation, meaning the lawgivers, or those who bring the laws into existence, right? And commerce, meaning buying and selling. Okay, and that always works through banking. All right, the whole concept of banking, the biggest fraud there is. Okay, especially here in America, you have something known as the Federal Reserve. That's a whole different topic. We're not even going to go into that today. All right, we might touch on it a couple of times, but we're not going to go into that today. That's going to be too much. Okay, but banking is where they start off with their raping and pillaging of nations. Right, as it tells you in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Okay, Habakkuk 2. Yeah, Habakkuk, where are you? Habakkuk, where are you? There you go. Right, Habakkuk 2 and verse 6. It says, actually, let's start off at verse 4, right? Because this is literally describing what we're watching right now. Okay, Habakkuk 2 verse 4 says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what you're seeing through banking, right? Bankrupting countries, all right? Through the military, starting war, making war against countries, pillaging the village, okay? And then after the war is done, charging those countries to have to pay back those damages that was caused in that war, which those countries are going to have to go to those banks and get those loans in order to pay back and fix and so on and so forth. That puts them in debt. That means these banks own you, okay? So these things Esau is always doing with corporations and all these different things is how they pillage the land, they pillage the people, they pillage the earth. Okay, it says verse 6: shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, saying and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Right, so he doesn't own the earth. Okay, the earth was given into your hands to manage it, but what did you do? You mismanaged it, so much so that you want to take advantage of the, like the lady said, corporatization slash banking of the earth, all right, is raping the earth. Okay, it says, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Okay, when you go into that word thick clay, all right, let's see if we can get that real quick. It says here, all right, ibatyat. Okay, ibatyat, which is what? Weight of pledges, heavy debts. Okay, heavy debts. All right, and that heavy debt is inextinguishable debt brought by the banks. Okay, once you get the banks involved, it's over with, and that's what they're trying to do with nature. They're trying to get the banks involved with nature, not just no more people and governments, but now with nature as a whole. Okay, and once that happens, they're going to charge every single thing that you use nature for. All right, they're already doing it, and they want to take it a step further. This time, they want to be able to track it with AI. All right, with the carbon footprint and all these different things, is to charge how much of nature people are using and how much they can charge you for that usage that you're using. Okay, continue. Let's watch.
Sometimes I describe the challenge that we have as the economic invisibility of nature. What I mean by that is that most of what nature provides is not transacted in markets. Whether it's clean air or fresh water, or whether it's the pollination of bees for fruit trees. When did a bee ever send you an invoice?
They didn't have to, but now they're going to. Okay, and we're gonna see how Esau is gonna do that. Just watch. It's so clever, but that, again, it goes to show you how much of a devil these people really are, man.
Billions of workers toiling away without a break, in silence and for no pay. For millennia, no one recognized neither their value nor all the work they do.
No, people recognized it. Okay, when you go into the scriptures, it tells you about the land Sabbath, right? In the book of Leviticus, the 25th chapter, it mentions the land Sabbath and how we're supposed to actually take care of the land. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's get that. Okay, Leviticus 25. And everything is in the scriptures. But see, these devils, leave it to them, and they'll tell the world that they're God's chosen people, but yet they do everything that's against what the Heavenly Father says to do. Okay, this is the book of Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 1. It says, the sabbatical year and the year of Jubilee. Sabbatical means to take a leave or a break. All right, to rest, Sabbath. All right, it says, and the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. Okay, again, specifically the children of Israel. Those were the ones that the laws are given to. All right, they're the ones that the Lord is specifically solely dealing with, not the whole world, not the Jewish nation, because there ain't no such thing. Okay, but the children of Israel, consisting of the 12 tribes. That's the world. All right, cosmos, the world of Israel. Okay, it says, and say unto them, when ye come into the land which I give you, okay, the land of Canaan slash the land of Israel slash Palestine as we have today. All right, and it's even greater. All right, they call it now the so-called Greater Israel Project. Okay, but all that land is for the Israelites. That's the promise that the Lord gave us, and it's ultimately the whole entire world. All right, but our main base slash headquarters on the earth right here is going to be from Israel. Okay, it says, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord Yahweh. Okay, because the land has a spirit. Okay, the land has a spirit, so you have to respect that. Okay, in order for the world, the earth and the land to work, how it's supposed to work, you have to actually, utilize it the way the Lord has given you, the manual. You got to go by the manual that the Creator gave you, right? It says, 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord Yahweh. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard, meaning don't touch it. Do not touch the land, leave it alone, let it regenerate and recuperate from the 6 years of usage. Okay, just 1 year, that's all you do. Right, so in the ancient world, we used to do it, and even in different parts of the world right now where Jake actually keeps the land Sabbath, whether they know it or not, typically they'll use it for about 6 years, and after that, the 7th year, they just leave it alone. And then within 6 months to a year, around that time, you're going to see the whole place filled with bush and grass and, all kinds of different stuff going on. right? And then the beginning of the next year, right? You come in and then you cut it, you dress it, and so on and so forth before you start cultivating that land again. And by that time, you left it for so long, it's been revitalized. It's filled with nutrients and so on and so forth. Okay, it says, "That which groweth of its own accord, of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year, it is a year of rest unto the land." So you can't touch it. You got to leave that land and go cultivate someplace else. Okay, it doesn't mean, oh, you can't grow crops at all. No, it just means the place that you were growing crops for the first 6 years, you have to leave that place and go someplace else. And by the time you go to the other place, it's rich in nutrients, right? So you can grow your crops over there. You can, dress your vineyard, all these different things. You can do that. And then after that year is over, you can come back to this place again. You see, but typically sometimes Jake don't even go back to that same place. You just keep growing for the next 6 years on the other spot, and then once it's done, you come back to this spot. You can go back and forth, but you have to respect the land Sabbath. Okay. I mean, over in Ghana, there's certain days where they don't even go fishing. Right? They say, "Oh, today we're leaving the sea. We're gonna let her rest. The fishes, everything. We're not gonna bother them. We're gonna leave them alone." They can go into the field, get crops that they need for their use, whether it's for cooking or whatever it is, and then they leave the rest, just as the scripture says. But Esau, he come in and he take the whole thing down. He's taking the trees, the fruits, everything, and then he just uproots the trees and he says, "We're gonna build some apartment buildings on here." Like, you stupid fuck. All right. It says, verse 6, it says, "And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee, and for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in thy land, shall all the increase thereof be meat." All right, so you can't touch it, you can't utilize it, you got to leave it for it to bear on its own again, and then you can come back to it again after that seventh year is done. Okay, or that 1 year that you're taking off. Okay, it says, "And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of the year unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years." That's where you get the Jubilee. Okay, the 50th year, right? It says right here, "Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land." Okay, so the point is about the land Sabbath. All right, we do have a land Sabbath that we have to adhere to, but Esau, he says, no, we're going to privatize nature now. Keep going.
It took a tragedy for us to finally recognize their economic value.
In the US, a large part of the natural wild bee population has died off. The same thing is happening in Europe. There are hundreds of people who keep large numbers of bees. They keep them in hives, and when a farmer wants his fields pollinated, he actually calls one of these commercial pollination firms. There's a rate for hiring 1 million bees for a week.
See, and just like that, they just make money off of that, right? They bring the population of something that is important, they bring it down, right? And then whatever it is that's left, they control it. And then being that they know that it's necessity, or it's necessary for people and companies and countries to have these natural resources, now they bill you. So you want bees to come populate your farm? Well, you can rent it for a week. I'll give you about 2 million bees for this 1 week. After that, I'm gonna come pick them up. You gotta pay me though. But prior to that, they didn't need to pay for bees to come and populate your thing. That's just what they do. You see, they didn't need to come and pollinate. I should say, pollinate your crops. Okay, farmers didn't have to worry about that. You see what I'm saying?
To pollinate your crops.
What if tomorrow they were to disappear entirely? What if we had to replace these bees with humans, and therefore pay them?
Hi.
It wasn't there before. It's crazy.
The pollination service of bees is economically invisible, but the total value of that was found to be something like $200 billion.
See that? $200 billion. That alone, Esau's salivating. Oh, how can we capitalize on that? Capitalize. Everything has to be about capital, money making. Huh? You know? Look, hey, Eliphaz, my God is money. Okay, that was his firstborn son. Eliphaz, Eliphaz. Okay? Esau's God is money, man. Everything about these devils is all about money. Money, 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 money. Okay?
That's almost 8% of the total agricultural output on Earth.
We look at these little creatures differently now that we know that they are worth $200 billion, don't we? We immediately pay more attention to them. All that wealth in a beehive. And we humans never realized it.
Mr. Johnson? Yes? Hi, Mother...
Now, this right here is what's coming soon. This is what climate change, the whole climate shit, this is it. Alright, the climate agenda, what they're about to show you right now is how things are going to start playing out soon through that carbon footprint bullshit. Okay? They're going to charge you for everything that you do. Watch.
Nature here. I'm here to collect for last month's nature usage. Nature usage? Okay, let me see. The sun rose and set. Oh, look at that. Every day. There was that cool breeze on Tuesday.
But what if the solution was already here?
You saw that? You see that, right? So they could charge you for your usage of natural raw materials that otherwise will be for free. They're able to actually put a price tag on something that was created before they got here. They didn't make it, but they're going to control the usage of it, all right, by telling you it's not enough to go around. So whatever it is that you're going to be using, we're going to have to balance it so it can go all around. If you guys insist that you want to all live and be alive together, we're going to have to charge you. We're going to have to bring down your natural resource usage. And then whatever you use, we're going to charge you. Now, this right here that you're about to see the next scene is insane. Okay? It's Central Park. It's all about Manhattan and all that. Central Park. Central Park is not even that it's not that deep. It's not that serious. It's not that dope. To me personally, at least. I've been there multiple times. I used to work. New York City is not appealing to somebody like myself. Okay? I'm just putting it out there. Right? But other people, people buy homes to live in New York City. I don't know what the hell these people are thinking. Alright? To live in a concrete jungle like this, you don't got that much nature. Everything is concrete. And the little nature that's in there, so-called Central Park, which is built on so-called Native American property and land. Okay, the Gadites used to have all this. Esau come in and look what they've done with it. They've privatized it. They've corporatized it. They've monetized it.
We just need to put a price on everything that nature provides. Pollination, the pleasure of walking in a park, clean air.
How much will it be worth? Wow, that is a good question.
How much would it be worth? You can't put a price on it.
Can't put a price on it.
Yeah, you just can't. It's priceless.
I want nature to be free. Nature was there before we were, and we should learn how to protect it, and that should not have to do something with money.
My daughters live in a flat we have in New York. This is on 56th Street. But if I had bought the same flat in 58th Street, I checked and the value was more than twice as much. Why do you think the value between 56th and 58th Street for the same area, 1,000 square feet, is twice as much? Because the one that is on 58th is next to Central Park. So just the ability of people to see greenery is worth $1 million extra.
$1 million extra for 1,000 square feet. That's crazy work. Hey, let me get that. Hold on. I believe in the book of Isaiah. Oh shit, I can't think of damn. Let me see if I can find it here. Select it 1 second. Esau. There's a precept in Isaiah. If a brother could find it, Babak Shah, if you could just post it on the comment board for me, or if I do remember, I'll just bring it out. All right, but it says that Esau basically he takes all the land and then he pushes everybody into a small little corner, right? So he utilize the whole entire land, right? Take it from people, steal your land because it's not my fault that my resources are in your land, so I'm gonna come in there, start some propaganda through the media, come in there and then just blow your whole shit away and then take all what you got. And then the people who actually live there off of those resources, they're second class citizens because in the name of corporations. Or the corporations could just go to the government, say, hey, listen, we're going to lobby or we're going to pay you some money, so and so and so. Just pass this so we can be able to build our infrastructure over here. And then it protects them. So you can't really fight against it. You can't really push against it. Meanwhile, they just come in here and they take the best part of the earth. That's why it tells you in the book of Genesis that their blessing was going to be the fatness of the earth. So they always get the best part of the earth and then they put everybody else in a corner somewhere. Meanwhile, they're destroying that best part of the earth. They don't know how to cultivate it. They don't know how to actually manage the earth. Okay? So you have shit like this. 2 blocks, 1,000 square feet, $1 million difference. Like that's insane, man. That's insane. And that fool he gonna buy that shit. Why don't you just go to a different country somewhere and run away from Esau and build your own shit over there for much cheaper? You know what $1 million could do for you in a different country that's not America? Let's keep going.
And I see you're running a little behind on your oxygen bill. I wouldn't let that continue very long if I were you, Mr. Johnson.
Well, I'm a little short this week, so
So, will that be cash or charge?
But see, you see that they're depicting how these corporations actually operate. Because even when you're dying, they look at you with a smile on their face and ask you, cash or charge, like cash or card, how do you want to pay this? Oh, you want to live? All right, so make your payment so we can do what we got to do. You know? And they've conditioned people into that mindset where you have companies now that do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you don't pay your phone bill? Man, they cut your shit off right away. Your internet bill? Yeah, they cut it right away. They don't care what you're doing, how you're doing it, where you might be. Nah, we're missing a payment. That's all it is about money. You're missing a payment? Yeah, I had to pay for this, and my daughter was sick, or my son was sick, or my mom was. Nah, they don't want to hear that. Right? Oh, I'm dying. Look at this nigga's face. He's dying. But cash or card? This is the reality. This was coming. Okay? Anyone who takes that C-hip, they'll be able to check and control everything you do. Right now, as we speak, you have houses that have smart meters. Okay? And of course, they say, oh, smart meters was catching fire and the whole LA thing. No, those are DEW weapons, right? But those smart meters being installed all around different homes now, they call it smart meters. Those smart meters are put in place because they're all digital. And what they do is they can actually get a scan of everything that you're using in the house. Okay? So from water that you're using to electricity, anything that you use in the house, right, is all being recorded. How much you're using it is all being recorded. And then at the end of the month, they'll send you this small little thing like, oh, your usage this month was 7% higher than last month, or 5% higher than your neighbors, or shit like that. It's like, who asked you to give me all this information? I pay my light bill for a reason, so I can use it for how I want to use it and shit like that. I don't need you monitoring how much I'm using, when I'm using it, what I'm using it for, just to give me a feedback. I don't care about that. You see? But that's, to us, we're conscious about it so we can see it. But those who are not aware of these things, it's just like a normal thing to them. It's like, oh yeah, they're just watching what I do. Like, you know what I'm saying? A few years ago, they came out with this whole thing. Oh, there's a certain type of paint that you can't use in your house because children were eating paint chippings. Come to find out, the reason why they came up with that narrative was to stop or change the coding of how buildings or houses are built. So that way, the kind of coat that you use on your house with paint and so on and so forth, it's easy for Wi-Fi to travel through your walls. Okay? So, because Wi-Fi doesn't travel too well through walls. So now, you don't see homes being built with brick and mortar. It's mostly wood. I worked in a house the other day. They used styrofoam I'm like, what? Using styrofoam now? Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? People spending $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a home, brand new home. It looks nice, but it's cheaply made. Its quality sucks. Okay? So now you gotta put so much money in insurance just to protect the little shit that you just paid for. You see what I'm saying? And even with that, you get no protection, not from the government, not from your smart gadgets that you're using, right? So literally, you're building a hazard, okay, and an entry point for Esau to just come in and spy on your ass, okay. So with that smart thing, they can literally log into it and they can map out your whole house, even your Wi-Fi router, okay. They can use that to map out your whole house. Okay, where's this person? What room you're in? Right? All these different things. They can map it all out. Okay. And Esau don't gotta sit behind a TV and do these things or a computer and do these things. They just have AI do these things. Right? AI is working 24/7, so it's picking up on all this information and they're storing it as data. All right, data collection. You see what I'm saying? You don't even have to agree to it. The moment you have these things around you, it's automatically going to work. All right, and they're using all this information against the people so they can what? Monetize it. Okay, they're monetizing this stuff, man, and it's big business because it just started. So all these companies are jumping on it. All these corporations are jumping on it, man. Okay, so let's keep going.
D'Oscar Wilde qui dit les cyniques connaissent le prix de tout et la valeur de rien. Je ne suis pas cynique et je pense que connaître le prix de la nature, c'est aussi lui reconnaître de la valeur. Parce que, encore une fois, aujourd'hui, dans le système tel qu'il fonctionne, on peut le regretter, mais ce qui n'est pas compté ne compte pas.
Our economic system was created in a very different era. It was created hundreds of years ago when what was valuable, what was scarce, were capital and labor, right? So that's what we put a value on. All the natural resources, all the ecosystems, all the clean air, clean water, there was too much of that, and so we didn't put a value on it.
Effective, healthy blood pressure support takes more.
Having plenty of clean air, water and animal species is of no interest to the markets. They hate things that are abundant and free.
There you go. They hate things that are abundant and free. So what the Lord created and said it was good, Esau hates that the Lord created these things and he said it was good. This is the devil that we're dealing with. So we don't want to hear about, oh, why you guys calling the Edomites the devil? They're destroying the whole entire planet. They're literally destroying it on a daily basis, man. Like, you can't see this stuff? It doesn't take a rocket scientist or a genius to look at these things and say, hold on, there's something wrong with this. Why are you destroying the planet that we live off of? Okay? Why? What's the point of this? Damn Gil Bates, bro. Damn devil. The gates of hell. This nigga said he's going to cut down all the trees the trees down in the Amazon jungle, which he's never going to be able to do something like that. But that's his goal. Okay? All in the name of saving the planet. How do you save the planet? By cutting down the trees? How? And then you claim that the earth is being polluted. Yeah, so don't you want to leave the trees so it can continue to filter the air? We need the oxygen. Don't you know that? The trees are not just there just to be there. They give us oxygen and they take in the carbon dioxide. We work with each other. The more trees, the better the air. Because they need us just like we need them. It's all interconnected. That's why it's called an ecosystem. Okay? It's a system, meaning everything is joined together. The Lord made it that way. Each and every creature on this earth is important. That's why the Lord created them. They all have a role. They all play a role. Once you eliminate one role, it affects the other. It's literally a chain. Okay? When you destroy the ecosystem in the ocean, it affects the ecosystem on the land. And then in the air. They're all connected, man. Okay?
The equation is beginning to change. Nature is the El Dorado of the 21st century.
Right. And what is the El Dorado? When you go into the El Dorado is when they say Christopher Columbus, when he came over here, there was actually a king that he saw, or chief, right, from the northern kingdom that he met. And when he met them, all right, they starting with gold, like riches. I mean, hey, you go to Puerto Rico, that's where Puerto Rico gets that name, rich port. All right, Puerto Rico. So when they first came here to this the unknown world at that time, they see all these exotic plants and animals and people and gold, and I mean, damn, like, oh goodness, how the earth was, or at least how America, the Americas was prior to them you know who's popping up over here. This place was like a paradise. It still is. There's certain parts where you go, like Bermuda or whatever, like you go to these different islands and stuff, you'd be like, damn, like the water's clear. After all these years of Esau destroying the earth, right? It's still clear. It still has life to it. It's like, damn, this is nice. You know, pink sand, all kinds of different shit. You know? And these, they have resources that are helpful to the human body. You know? The earth is still yielding crops that are healthy for human consumption, right? You go to these different countries, just for vacation. You go there for like 2 weeks. You come back, your skin is glowing. You know, your system feels healthier. Like you purge out all the chemicals and the abominations that we have to deal with here in America. You go to these different countries, you drinking fruit juice, and it's like, damn, it's natural fruit juice, right? You eating chicken, and it's like, yo, that's authentic, real chicken. You know what I'm saying? You eat eggs, and it doesn't taste like petroleum or gas. It's like actual eggs. You know what I'm saying? Like you could taste the difference, right? You look at the ingredients of ketchup and it's like, oh, just tomatoes. And oh, okay, cool. Tomatoes and water. But then over here, you got all kinds of different ides and dextrose and all kinds of different shits in there. You'd be like, oh man, this shit is like, they can't just put tomatoes and, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell, bro? You know? But again, this is all to show you Esau, Edom, at his peak is all about destruction. Okay? And that's why he got to go. All right?
A new economic sector with promises of huge...
Oh, Slacky, I wanted to finish the point about El Dorado. So when Columbus came over here, he met that rich chief, and he was decked in all gold and all that, and he called it the El Dorado because when he went back to Spain, he told him that, yo, that place is paved with gold, like, you know, the whole concept of money on trees and the streets are paved with gold, America and all that. That's where it goes back to. Okay, so he met the king or the chief, and he was decked. The whole place was decked with gold, and he said, "Yo, this is like the El Dorado. Like this is like the new world. Like this is different. Like we never seen no shit like this before." Well, the best thing to do is just destroy them and take them as slaves, and then take all their shit that they got. That's what the devil does. Okay, but keep going.
Returns for investors. Banks, finance, corporations and states are attracted into it. They all know that on a dead planet, no one will do business anymore.
On va arriver en 2048 au dernier poisson extirpé de l'océan. Ok, on n'en parle plus. Le comportement de l'humain aujourd'hui, on peut se rendre compte un peu partout, comme il détruit les écosystèmes, où il les pollue, il les extirpe, il les surexploite, fait qu'on a une situation assez ambiguë, où sur un moment de l'histoire de la Terre, on a un maximum d'espèces, on en détruit beaucoup plus vite que ce qu'on est capable de laisser régénérer en fait. Et la préoccupation, elle est là.
That's fundamental economic theory, you know, supply and demand. The more there is supply of something, the less the price. The less the demand, the less the price. But the more the demand and the less the supply, the higher the price, right? And effectively right now, the price we're putting on the environment and on natural services is zero, effectively. But that's going to have to change as the supply of these natural resources continues to dwindle and the demand in the form of people continues to grow.
Hear that? So that's the compromise. You people want to keep on living? All right, well, we're going to have to tax you for everything that you use then. All right?
Applying the law of supply and demand to natural resources and species is something new. Until now, almost no one had ever thought of putting life itself into the economic machine.
Il y a vraiment une emprise.
He said there's a real increase in human geological activity around the globe.
D'ampleur géologique des humains sur la planète. La vitesse d'extinction
The pace at which species extinguish is 100 to 1,000 times faster than the geological average during the last 500,000 years. These niggas here.
la dernière fois
The last time such a violent biodiversity crisis took place
qu'une crise de
was 65 million years ago. That's not true. Okay.
This was the time of one of the greatest geological disasters. The dinosaur disappeared, and along with them, 70% of all animal species. We could now be in the middle of a similar crisis. Only this time, it's not a meteor that caused it. It's man.
You see, but that's one thing. You see, that's the importance of knowing the truth, right? When they speak like that, they generalize it. It's man. It ain't no man doing all this shit. Man was alive before all this stuff was happening. They said this is the first time in human history. Man has been there for years. But none of this shit was happening until these devils came into power, man. All right, Esau, he's the man who's destroying the whole entire earth, man. All right, let's get this real quick, all right? This man, that man, it's not just any man. It's one specific group or race of people, all right? And that's these devils over here, okay? Let me see here. Is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 16. It says, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners?" Okay? Is this the man? So that man, whenever they use these terms or try to generalize it, it's not everybody who's destroying the earth, all right? You got people who are actually standing up against this type of madness to save and preserve nature, okay? So we go just man came in and man has destroyed. No, a specific type of people that have destroyed the earth, and that's Esau, Edom, the man of destruction, okay?
You're struggling with complicated. Existimos por millones de años.
All right, it says humans have existed for millions of years, but the process of destruction dates only the last 150 years. Shit, a little bit more than that. 250 maybe. Put another way, it isn't human beings that are destroying nature, but rather the economic system. Well, who created the economic system? The present economic system we have now was created by who? None other than the Rothschild banking family. Okay? That's the current economic system we have now. It's not based on regular barter. It's based on debt. Okay?
Evolution. The world's population has increased sixfold. Water consumption risen by a factor of 3. The amount of carbon in the atmosphere has doubled. The global temperature has increased. And half the world's rainforests have disappeared.
Again, the devil, okay, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Okay, it's the same thing with Revelation 11 and 18, where it says, "Destroy them that destroyeth the earth." They've destroyed the cities. They've made the world as a wilderness, man. When you're cutting down everything, destroying everything as it is, what are you doing? All that for money? And they said this started when? Since the Industrial Revolution. And Esau is saying that what they want to. This is what they did with the Industrial Revolution. They destroyed everything. Okay, they made the world as a wilderness. Now they want to shift to the 4th Industrial Revolution. What the hell does that even mean? Keep going.
Our ecological footprint is escalating. To satisfy our needs, we are using the resources of 1.5 Earths. If we continue at this rate, by 2030, we'll need 2 planets.
That's why, Lord willing, we don't get to 2030, so Esau could be taken out. Once Esau is taken out, we don't need a 1.5 Earth planets to survive. We don't need all that. Okay, the Earth, as it's presently constituted, is perfect and good enough for everybody. We're good. Okay? It's not until the last, the guy said 150 years, now all of a sudden, the Earth has been there for thousands of years. Nobody had a problem with it. All of a sudden, these devils come in here with all this corporatization and monetization of nature. Now all of a sudden, oh, we got to depopulate the earth. Fuck out of here, man. You got to go. Okay? You gotta go. They want to depopulate the earth and they could stay. Fuck out of here. You the problem, man. You the cancer. It's like killing the host and then leaving the cancer. It's like, what's the point? No, you gotta eliminate the cancer so the host could live. You know what I'm saying? And the cancer of the earth is Esau, Edom. That particular race of people, the devils of the earth, man. All right? They sucked everything dry. They suck in the natural resources, everything, man. Okay? It's crazy, bro. This shit has to stop, man. And it will stop. All right? And we ain't wrong for pointing all these things out. We're going to continue to point it out. And they hate it, but guess what? We love it. Fuck out of here, man. We're going to keep pointing you out for the devils that you really are. Okay? Let me see if I can skip a little bit. Yeah, this right here is the crazy part. Let me skip to this part right here. Shit, crazy work.
100 miles east of Los Angeles, there's a fly. Probably the most expensive fly in the world.
Most expensive fly in the world. You know, Esau want to go around there and try to find out why is it so expensive. Let's find out how can we capitalize on this. How can we make money off of this? Devil.
Here it comes, right here, flying right by us. That is one of them. Here it is again. See that up there? A century ago, there may have been on the order of around 40 square miles of habitat. That is essentially the distribution of the sand dune. And over the 20th century, 95% of the remaining habitat has been destroyed or converted over to other uses.
Our Muslim brothers and sisters.
95%. Damn.
Hey,
that's why Howard Shai said, let's get that real quick. Let me get that in Matthew 24. Man, this shit is Esau, bro. Is the book of Matthew chapter 24. Start for verse 21. It says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." And they're going to use that through AI. Okay, AI is like the biggest, weapon that they're going to use to really bring that tribulation. Okay, this is an except those days should be shortened. So Yahushua got to do us a huge. He got to come through big, man. All right, to shorten those days. Right, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay, not for the whole world, not for the Jewish nation, but for the elect's sake. Okay, the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, those are the ones that the Lord is coming back for. Those are the reason why the Lord is going to stop Esau in his tracks. Okay, Job 20. All right, when he's about to fill his belly, all this is part of him eating. While he is eating, this is all part of it, man. Okay.
A small fraction of that 5% supports good populations of this rare insect, this Delhi Sands flower-loving fly. And they emerge during the heat of the summer, and the adult fly only lives for a few days at the most.
Colton County underwent huge economic development.
Look at this. Look at all this. Look at this. Why? I mean, damn, it's everywhere. In the mountains, they got something going on. In the air, they got something going on. In the water, they got something on the earth, land, desert areas. They got Esau. Why? Yo.
Business and industry gradually swallowed the sand dunes, while the so-called Delhi sandflower-loving fly had the sad honor of becoming the first American fly on the endangered species list. To protect it, in 1993, the state froze all commercial activity on its habitat.
Boom, and that's done for a reason, right? To the unaware mind, right? Oh, that's good. They're protecting the environment. But listen to what happens next. Check this out.
Colton's growth dropped to zero, all because of a bug.
the citizens here, want jobs. The citizens want retail services. They want more businesses to be here. And right now, we're prevented from bringing them into town.
So the fly found itself hated by the entire population. But one man's misfortune...
The fly is a rare species with rare property. Makes a very good financial investment. We can create as much value for both our stockholders as well as create a biological opportunity for conservation by turning that into a mitigation bank. So our most recent sales have been $250,000 an acre.
Wow. Per acre. Let's see why. Listen to this. Remember, the fly is endangered. And people say, oh, we want to have grocery stores and, retail all over this land and shit like that, right? But this is the land where the flies live at, right? So let's see how Esau is able to capitalize on this whole shit right here. Check this out.
The bank saw an opportunity here, a mitigation bank. It realized that it could make money off these useless little sandflies. It bought a part of the fly's habitat, and then it did nothing, leaving the insect to live in peace while selling shares. If a business wants to develop a project on the land where the fly lives, it will find itself blocked by the state. But by buying shares, the entrepreneur can offset his impact by investing in the insect's protection and secures his right to develop his business.
There you go. See that? That is very clever but satanic at the same time. Okay, diabolical. So the insects are endangered, right? So they buy a piece of that land where the insects are endangered, okay? And then they say it's in the name of mitigating from companies like this to come in here and take over all this land here to make what? Pollution and destroy the rest of these insects that are here. The bank sets this up here and says, we are here to stop you from destroying all of this. But if you insist on coming here to buy or put your project over here, you're going to have to invest in our protection of these creatures here. Nigga, who made you God to be over here to protect these creatures in the first place? Nobody. But they say, well, we're here to protect. So we can't allow you to come in here and just create your own shit, start making your own money. So you want to do that? You got to play by our rules. Come over here, invest in the protection of these insects by paying us, and then we'll give you the ability to, put your shit on this land. So regardless, you're still going to do it, but we're going to make money off of you doing it. That's the whole scheme right here. You see how diabolical this is? You can still go ahead and destroy that. We don't care about you doing all this. We just care about you paying us and not just doing it for free. You see? Clever and diabolical, man. Esau's a devil. All right? Let's keep going.
The bank has already made $20 million.
The free market tends to find out a good balance between adequate conservation, share value, and allowing development to go forward.
Yeah, but is it really free when you have all these strings attached to it? Right, they call it free market, but yeah, guess what? You can't buy a car from directly from a manufacturer. You got to go through a dealership. Is that really free market at the end of the day? Right? So it's like there's always they use these terms, they use these words, but they don't really mean anything. They don't mean what they actually are supposed to mean. All right, the whole concept of double speak, and so on and so forth. Man, Esau, man, yo.
A bank making money by protecting a species. That sounds like a win-win situation, right? But for the inhabitants, the bank is still a fly in the ointment.
The fly is winning the war. With the flies in place, we've lost millions and millions and millions of dollars, years and years and years of time. We can't replace what we've lost. It would be cheaper to pay people to go out and kill the flies than to mitigate. Joke. Okay. But true. So.
This is what I...
Yep. Here we go. Oh, boy.
In the United States, species protection is in the hands of these new bankers. Businesses, estate agents, road builders, anyone whose activity endangers animals has to pay these banks.
See that? Yo, Esau, bro. Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. Okay? Crazy.
They protect more than 1 million acres of land.
Wow.
They sell wetlands credits, cacti credits, prairie dog credits, even lizards credits.
Lizards. Lizards, bro. They making money off of lizards, bro. Ain't that some shit? And we sitting here working mad hard for chump change. These niggas is out here monetizing nature, bro. That's why it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Look at this shit. They the only ones on the earth that do shit like this too. The African man ain't doing it. The so-called black, Latino, Native American man ain't doing it. We're not doing any of this stuff. Most people don't even know these things are happening. It's crazy work.
Wildlands is the biggest mitigation bank of the American West.
Our annual revenues...
Here's devil. There's an Edomite for you right here. This nigga is red. See that? He's not white. Ain't no white people. His hair is white. Alright, but he is red. See that? Different shades of red. He got pink in here. Red, look at that. See that? That's an Edomite for you right here. Steve Morgan. And if you track... I'm sure if you track his line, he goes back to the Jays. Okay? Look at this nigga. Look, he ain't got no spirit in his soul, bro. Look at him. No spirit in his body. Look at that. No soul. There's a demon and a devil. Alright, look at that.
Exceed $40 million a year in mitigation sales. We mitigate for giant garter snake, for salmon, steelhead, delta smelt, split tail, Swenson hawk, for burrowing owl, for desert tortoise, elderberry longhorn beetle, tadpole shrimp, fairy shrimp. Our customers are aware of the local solutions that we can provide. Now these customers will come and say, I'm building a shopping center and I'm affecting vernal pools, or I'm affecting a burrowing owl. Do you have something that can help me offset my requirements? So we take a look at our inventory, we provide them a quotation for a solution, and then we barter those credits to them. It's in a non-tangible transaction. When we give them a relief of their liability, it's a certificate of goodwill.
See that? This is crazy work. Crazy work. It's just like banking. It's literally fraud. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just crazy. Esau, man. Wow. Hate these devils, man.
But how do these banks choose to invest in and protect one species rather than another? And what happens to those endangered species living in areas of the US where there's nobody, where there's no economic development, and therefore no one to buy credits?
Choosing between one endangered species and another endangered species, it all depends on market demand. Buying landscapes, protecting landscapes, accumulating new landscapes. It's a phenomenal opportunity to be able to use a business model to achieve sustainability of nature.
Business model, meaning making money to achieve sustainability. Sustainability? Look at this devil, man. You believe anything that's coming out of his mouth? Fuck. These devils.
If we weren't profitable, we wouldn't have money to reinvest in these future projects.
You don't even blink. His eyes don't even blink, bro. You can't fuck with a devil like this. How many times does he blink in this video? Let's see. Let's see. Damn.
Buying landscapes, protecting landscapes, accumulating new landscapes. It's a phenomenal opportunity to be able to use a business model to achieve sustainability of nature. If we weren't profitable, we wouldn't have money to reinvest in these future projects.
This nigga does not even... He blinked once. In like a span of like 20 seconds. He blinked once. How? God, dog, bro.
The laws of the market applied to endangered species. Surprising, right? How can we let banks decide which species are worth saving and which ones not?
Ain't nobody let these devils do nothing. They do it on their own. Through conniving and deceptive ways, bro. Ain't nobody we ain't let. How can we allow? We ain't allow shit. Alright? Where people in there voting on, oh yeah, these banks should have this and we... Nobody did this. They do this on their own accord. Why? Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay? And what is he doing with it? He's destroying it. The inhabitants and everything, man. All right?
Which ones deserve to live and which are to die on the altar of profit.
New Yorkers are fed up, man. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up because I have to get back on the road. You know, so like I said, I'll put the video in the description. You know, so you know, you can check it out, watch the whole entire thing. You know, and you're gonna learn some things. It's probably gonna piss you off, but nonetheless, at least you get some edification on why we get on these devils and their helmets like that. You know, because you can't sit around and see all this stuff happening. They got all these titles, all this dumbass shit that they come up with, and to deceive the world into making them richer. Okay, they're destroying the world but making themselves richer, man. All right, what does the book of James say? Let's get that real quick. All right, it's the book of James chapter 5, right? Misuse of riches. Okay, James 5:1 says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." So the Lord is going to take away all this manipulation that you're doing on the earth, man. Right? Revelation 18, when America is done away with, all right, all these people says what the merchants, all right, all these different people buying and selling all that, they all gonna be it's over with, man. The Lord is gonna literally destroy your monopoly, all right, your empire, everything, man. All right, your riches are corrupted, all right, because they're done it's as gains that's ill-gotten, all right, ill-gotten gains. Okay, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. When you privatize nature like that, that's exactly what you're doing. Okay, that's exactly what you're doing, man. All right, but I want to get this real quick, and then we're gonna close it out. All right, because ultimately, man, we not just tired. The entire nature is tired of these devils. Okay, everybody's tired of these devils, man, and we can't wait for the Lord to come back and get these devils up out of here. Okay, mismanaging the earth and so on and so forth. Get him up out of here, man. Fire his ass and throw his ass in jail somewhere. All right, for all the corruption and the madness that he's caused upon the face of the earth. Okay, here's the book of Romans chapter 18 and verse 19. It says, "For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God." And it starts with who? Yahushua. He's the ultimate son of God. Okay, and then it stems through, it goes through the rest of the men of the Lord. All right, 144,000 of us. Okay, Lord willing, we are of that number. Okay, we are also known as the sons of God. Okay, it says for the earnest expectation. All right, meaning they're looking. Everybody's eager. They're waiting. Like, oh, we can't wait. All right, of the creature, meaning all of creation. Okay, you have the creator, and then you have the creature, and in the process of the creator making the creature is known as creation. Okay, waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. Okay, once we're manifested, that means what? You're going to go back to what? Proverbs 29 and 2. Okay, the whole earth is going to rejoice. Okay, it says for the creature, that means all of creation, was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. Right, so in this case, the creature is talking about the man, the Israelite, man, woman, and child. Right, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. Okay, it tells you that Revelation 21. All right, the New Jerusalem coming down from heaven. Okay, it says, "For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now." Okay, let's pull up a few words here. All right, the whole creation groaneth. All right, what's the word groaneth? It says to groan together, experience a common calamity. Oof. All right, so this right here, what these devils are doing is a common calamity that's being felt not just by the people, but by the animals, by the trees, by the water, by the air. Okay, the coral reefs. Okay, they're also suffering at the hands of these devils, all because of money. Okay, let's see. There's another part here. And as you watch it, you see what I'm talking about. But there's a part here. I believe it might be over here. Let's see. Where even the people, the locals, all right, they get cancer and all this different shit because these companies are out there just building factories right on top of them. And then they blowing all these fumes and smoke up in the air, and it's coming back upon the people, and they getting sick. Okay. Where's this part at? And it's sad, man, when you actually see what other people are going through, man. All in the name of these fuck ass corporations, bro. Look, all these corporations. Let me see. Oh, of course they're gonna give me. All right, I'm done with this. All right. So you could watch it on your own time. All right. Okay, but the creation is groaning, right? Right? Everybody's like tired of this shit, man. Okay. It says travaileth in pain together until now. Okay, until Yahushua comes back and what? Sets everything back in its rightful order. Okay? Sets everything back in its rightful order. It says, and not only they, right? Not only creation, but ourselves also. Right? We always sighing and crying, right? Which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. Okay? So that's the earnest expectation, is for all of this to be redone, to be renewed. Okay? A new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. And in order for that to happen, Esau Edom got to go. Okay? Esau Edom has to go. All right? Him and his bullshit families, all right? Banking, all these different, they all have to go. Okay? And they will go. All right? They will go. All right? So let's finish that off. And I believe I brought that out earlier in Isaiah 14, but let's bring that back up and close it out through there. There's the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse, start off at right here. Ooh, I like this right here. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 5, it says, the Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, meaning he's taking them out of power. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. Nobody's going to stop the Lord from taking these devils out, man. All right. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fair trees rejoice at thee, because you can't go in there, keep cutting them down and all these. You can't do that no more. The cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Right. So not just the trees, but the people as well. Okay. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they that speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. That means you're dead, right? When you got worms under you and over you, that's a state of being rotten. Okay, when worms come in, they decompose, all right, of the body. That's what you get. Okay, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Okay, how they weaken the nations? Through this shit right here, privatization. I wish this thing would go away. All right, privatization of nature. Okay, destroying everything that nature offers for free and putting money on it and saying that, oh, we don't have enough resources. All these companies and corporations play a role, all right, in the destruction of the earth and its resources and its people. All right, look, all these companies. And who runs all these? None other than Esau Edom. Okay, none other than Esau Edom, man. All right, it says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And they want to do that this time through so-called artificial intelligence. Okay, to give them something known as artificial immortality. How vain. All right, how vain. Okay, what's that? In the book of Psalms, it says, the fool hath said in his heart that there is no God. Esau is that fool. Okay. Well, how you gonna say, oh, I want to sit above the stars of God? Like I'm gonna sit in the throne of God. What, there is no God that you gonna go sit in his throne? Are you fucking out of your mind, bro? It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house, right? Because after the first 1,000 years of our kingdom, these nations are going to go back to their lands, right? They're going to be rewarded with what they have to do in order to keep our kingdom going. And they're going to love to do that, okay? They're going to love to do that, okay? But thou art cast out as thy out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do to you devils, man. That's 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. All right, for you devils and all the things that you've done. All these fuck ass corporations gonna be cooked and done away with. Okay, we don't need it. Nobody needs these things. All right, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, DuPonts, you Gettys, all you devils, all right, who play a role in the downfall of this earth, destruction of this earth. Okay, you're gonna have hell to pay. Okay, and that's all biblical prophecy, whether you like it or yes. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. Like I said, I'm gonna put this page here in the description. Okay, so you can check it out. But again, it's economy, privatization of nature. But they, when you check out their page, they put out some very, very good documentaries. Pretty cool. All right, so you always watch it and get some edification on there. All right. So Lord willing, you edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachakodash, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and until next time, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Barakatham to you, brothers and sisters. The water for joining me. Shalom.